Back with you on the late edition. Thanks for staying on. The Special Investigating Unit says it has started executing an order of the Special Tribunal which set aside grant funding of 21 million rands made by the National Lotteries Commission. The Special Tribunal declared invalid and set aside the decisions by the National Lotteries Commission to award funding to two entities, the Samaritan initiative and the Reagile. This is due to unlawful awarding processes. SIU spokesperson Kaizer Kganyago joins us now for more on that conversation. Kaizer, good to have you and thank you very much for your time. Why is this particular development significant and I suppose critical to the work that you're doing? You're saying it's the first time that you've been awarded a payback from grant funding.
Good evening, Thabo, and good evening to your viewers. This is very significant for us because you remember when we used to come here, we would say to you that we have freezed this, we have freezed that, we have freezed that pending, setting aside all of those processes, those agreements and recovering the money. Now we have started the process where we are now, after all the freezings, we are now going to the tribunal to set aside. Is the first one in the lottery section where we are setting aside and now recovering. Therefore, we now are saying to you that the contracts between HUMA and the Lottery Commission and the companies that are involved are now set aside and we are going to recover all the money, which basically means the farm and the hotel that were freezed are now going to be sold, and then the money is going to be forfeited to the state. And then the third amount is amount of about 10 million, where he was trying to sell the house, sorry. And we found out that he was selling the house. We let the transaction happen, but we told the conveyancer to bring the 10 million to the SIU pending this kind of a decision from the tribunal. Therefore, this is a breakthrough because we've put in a lot of those kind of transaction to be set aside by the tribunal. And now the ones that we have put in now are almost at the value of about 320 million rand and still counting.
Yeah, so you've got about 18 NLC review applications to set aside the grants, and that could amount to about 320 million. I suppose this then justifies what many others have been criticizing, say, well, the SIU just freezes even before the matter is resolved. At least now you're justified in saying, well, this is why we froze these assets and now we're able to derive value from that.
No, definitely. People need to understand that if we had not gone to on the first part of freezing them, we would then finish this thing maybe after 3 months, 6 months with the courts. And then when we go back, there will be nothing for us to recover from. Therefore, the freezing was very important so that they cannot sell those properties until we finalize this second part. Therefore, it is very important that the public understand that part.
What does this ruling by the tribunal then have on the other matters? I mean, failed to disclose conflict of interest, contravening Lotteries Act, his fiduciary duties. Do these then carry some kind of criminal aspect where the NPA would now need to pursue?
Yes, it does. And we've already referred all of that to the NPA. It is up to them. Obviously, you need to understand that we only have one prosecuting authority in this country. They will have to look at it and check whether they are certain that they would win these matters in court. But the evidence has been given to them. It's up to them to take it from there.
As far as executing the order, then what is the SIU now going to do?
We have already appointed somebody who is going to sell these properties on our behalf. And we have indicated that it must be done as quickly as possible so that that money can now come to the coffers of the SIU and then it will be then taken back to the National Lottery Commission.
Yeah. Well, the community of Marikana could look at this and say, well, we still have not derived any benefit as a community from this particular project. So what it was meant to do, it's still supposed to do. With this reversal now of this particular grant, how does that benefit us?
I think this is the matter that the NLC need to then take upon themselves, because now a community had been promised certain things to be done. Therefore, it means another NPO that is really credible must take over this matter. That is my view. But we cannot dictate to the NLC what they do with the money, but the money will be there available in their coffers to be used as and when it is necessary for them to use it.
Yeah. And at this particular point, then, the 18 you're saying that are still under review, how long is the turnaround of that process? I suppose with one having set precedents, they might be quicker now.
No, definitely. You must remember, all of them are the special tribunal, and the special tribunal is only us who litigate there. Therefore, the turnaround is going to be very quick. Therefore, we hope to finalize most of them as quickly as possible, if possible, in this financial year.
Mr. Kaizer, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on. That's the spokesperson of the SIU there, Kaizer Kganyago, on this latest development. They were awarded here a set-aside of the grant funding in one of their investigations that has got to do with the NLC, the National Lotteries Commission. Quite a significant development there.